Alright, I think we're
Are we good? What happened? What happened?
We spot a wild Daniel. Okay,
Get outta
I think
here.
we're back.
All right.
I think we're back.
Thanks for joining us, by the way.
Yes, thank you. And tonight we're here to talk about in a very boring year, just like last year.
In the year before.
And the year before and the year before that.
What is your general thoughts on the Oscars overall? Like, how do you feel about them? Are you a fan? Were you ever a fan? Or do you kind of resent them? What do you think?
The Oscars is like my Super Bowl because I'm such a movie buff.
Mm-hmm.
Like this is something I really care about and I follow, anywhere from the Producers Guild to the Director Guild's awards and the SAG Awards and the Golden Globes. Like I'm all about it.
Right.
I'm all about the Oscars. How about yourself?
It's weird for me because part of me is like, yes, I totally get your Super Bowl analogy.
Yes.
It's basically a night of television where it's like, oh, you're talking about literally my thing. And you're making a big deal out of it. Mm-hmm. The commercials are almost as big. Yeah. And like, I get excited about it, but also I have this weird conflict because I sometimes just disagree on decisions. Or sometimes I usually disagree on decisions, on nominations, and what they decide to focus on, what they decide to even to what's going to be performed at the show, and it's.
But even like the Super Bowl, sometimes you're like, what are these two bullshit teams? Like the Patriots. Like, do we really need another Super Bowl with the Patriots? Or like these BS plays that are called. And so that's how the Oscars are. And sometimes they're like super predictable. Oh, sure. And sometimes you get a Moonlight La La Land situation, which I'm so glad I was there. Because listen, when La La Land won, I was having a watch party with my friends. I'm like, this is bullshit. Let's turn this off. And we just started chugging the rest of the champagne we had. And it was like, wait a minute. Some dude runs off on stage. I'm like, what's going on? They're like, Moonlight wins. And we just lost our minds.
Oh my gosh.
We lost our minds in my living room.
That was like one of the... I tend to do... When I watch like the Oscars, I mostly... I don't have a big party, but like... I usually like interact with my friends on Twitter. Yeah. And there's one friend specific where me and her are always like, that's bullshit, or that's crap, or like, yeah, good job. We're glad that one won. But then like that one, we were both like, did you just see what happened? She's like, yeah, that was weird.
That was super weird. You can see Ryan Gosling was like snickering in the back a little bit, and just like he was like, "What's up? What happened? What happened?" Warren Beatty's like losing his damn mind. Poor thing. He's like, "I did something wrong," and it wasn't the host's fault at all. But they were being blamed for forever until the truth came out and they were given the wrong envelope. Right. So let me just say hi to everyone here in the chat. Thomas Franco, Edward Sanchez, Toku Kid. A lot of these people I haven't seen in a while. Migdalia, where have you been? I've been working, dude. And that's it for now. Let's see. Toku Kid says, I think Justin is saying Black Panther is going to lose and Roma will win. I believe he's talking about Best Picture.
I think Justin's saying that
Black Panther is going to lose.
Why are you thinking I'm going to say that? How do you know that? You ain't in my head. Right?
So, like I mentioned before, tomorrow is the SAG Awards, which is the award ceremony where the actors themselves, anybody in the SAG union can vote on these awards. Doesn't matter if you've never been in a major feature film or not. If you're part of the union, you got to vote on these awards, and they're usually a good indicator of what's going to win Oscar night. But they really, really differ on what's been nominated in the Oscars to the SAG Awards. Do you watch the SAG Awards? Do you follow them?
I mostly catch them.
What's your opinion?
I catch up on the SAG Awards, obviously, when it's over. I don't really watch them live. But, I mean, like, the SAG Awards, I feel... You're right. It is a good indicator to see, okay, most likely that's probably going to win. Yeah. But that's the weird part, right? It's like, it never... That's the weird part of Oscars. You can never really 100% predict. Right. And but I feel like that's the format that makes the most sense to me, is if it wins the SAG, most likely you'll probably get the Oscar.
Now, I know you and Jezza covered a lot of this ground when you spoke about the Golden Globes weeks back, but the Best Picture, and I'm trying to find the Best Picture for SAG, but I don't think they do that. I think they do cast ensembles, which is a little bit weird, but it's just funny. So their cast nominations is like A Star is Born, Black Panther, Black Klansman, which I really need to see, Bohemian Rhapsody. I haven't seen it yet. Crazy Rich Asians. So those are only 4, which is very interesting. And then for the Oscar nominations, you got Black Panther, Black Klansman, Bohemian Rhapsody, The Favorite, Green Book, Roma, Star is Born, and Vice.
Right.
Now, the two films there that are really, really just like controversial here is Bohemian Rhapsody and Green Book.
Correct.
A lot of controversy, but a lot of wins behind them already, with the exception of Roma. Roma's got a couple major wins there.
Right.
What is your opinion on Bohemian Rhapsody potentially winning, because they did win Best Drama at the Golden Globe?
I have such a problematic feeling on this. It's such a. And to be fair, I haven't seen the film yet. Have you seen it?
Yeah, I haven't seen it yet either.
Okay.
I heard it was terrible, which is why I'm so surprised it's getting all these accolades
and I'm also
nominations.
seeing people who also equally love it. It's this thing where like part of me is wondering, is it because you're such a Queen fan,
right,
that overshadows what probably might have some shortcomings in the movie?
Yeah.
Though I know
the nostalgia factor.
The nostalgia factor. Do I have one friend who's a hardcore Queens fan, and she hates the film?
Wow.
I think someone asked her like, "Oh, how do you feel? What happens if Bohemian wins the Oscar?" She's like, "I will burn the Dolby Theater down."
Woo!
So it's like, cool, coming in hot. But it's such a I don't know. What about Bohemian that are you aware of?
Well, Token Kid says, can you explain why Bohemian Rhapsody is getting so much acclaim, even though it sucks? It's tough, because the controversy is obviously the director behind this, Bryan Singer,
right,
who also directed Usual Suspects and a few of the X-Men films.
Right.
And about it's like an open secret, that
right,
he has groomed and sexually assaulted, and maybe in some cases allegedly raped some of these young boys.
And there's even another account that came out this week alone.
An expose, and I knew that was going to come out this week. But it's like, are we rewarding Bryan Singer and all?
Please stop making that close up of his face of Rami Malek. He is very talented, but for please, I need to sleep tonight.
It's like, you can honor the music.
Yeah.
You can honor the Rami Malek. You can honor the screenplay maybe.
Right.
But should this be a Best Picture nominee just for the fact that Bryan Singer, even though he was fired 2 weeks before production ended,
correct,
he directed 90% of the film.
Right.
Again, allegedly, because he disappeared or whatever.
Right.
But his name is the only name stamped on this film. And obviously, when he took to Twitter being like, "Thank you for this award," he's collecting accolades.
Exactly.
So should the Oscars take the step that GLAAD did and drop this as a nominee?
I think they should. Especially the fact that, like, if we're talking about a movie that, listen, hey, if you love the film, that's fine. Yeah, I'm not here to, you like whatever you like. That's fair. But I feel like, and that's why the Best Picture nomination to me always confuses me. Like, I don't know, like, it feels like it's more of a Best Picture nomination because of the producer's work.
Right.
But yet also it's like, but part of the thing about filmmaking, obviously, is it's all the elements that work, all the elements that do a good job. And if we're doing an award show, then you're celebrating how all these elements tie together.
Right.
And the thing about, like, Bohemian is that it sounds to me like the majority thing that folks agree upon is Rami.
Yeah.
And,
that's all I've heard.
And the subject matter.
Yeah.
And that's it.
That's it. And that AIDS concert that they filmed. They're like, this is the best scene in the movie. Does that make it a Best Picture nominee?
Right.
I haven't seen it. I can't.
Yeah.
I'm a little bit biased because we should not be awarding, alleged or not. Like, I even know people who have been to some of these Bryan Singer parties, and that's all I'm going to say about that.
Right.
But it's believable for sure.
Yeah. No, and that's the reason why definitely don't just take it off. First, as a movie, it doesn't sound like it stands very well. But more importantly, this stuff that you've been talking about, I've been bringing up, it just don't reward that.
Yeah.
And he is. It's such a weird thing. I remember hearing he got fired, and I went, okay, well, I guess he's off the movie. And then he's promoting it on his social media as if he is still involved in the film and he is proud of the work. And I'm like, wait, but that doesn't match up to anything I've been hearing.
Yeah, exactly.
And Dexter Fletcher, who's the man who came in to finish the film, should be getting a little bit more notoriety and a little more notice.
Yeah. But DGA rules.
Exactly.
Directors Guild. Moving on, Green Book is the second film here that is very controversial for a couple reasons.
Yeah.
One, the writer who is the son of Viggo Mortensen's character, I believe. Some tweets were resurfaced, and people need like a tweet sweeper. If you become a public figure, hire yourself a tweet sweeper, get get a publicist to scrub through that shit.
That's probably not a bad call.
Years and years ago, they resurfaced a tweet where he was blaming Muslims for 9/11 and just all this like prejudicial shit started coming out. And secondly, Shirley's family, who Mahershala Ali plays, just did not co-sign on this film at all. They are not happy at all with this film. Yet it's winning all these awards. You know, another like white savior film that nobody in 2019 wants to see anymore. It's old. It's tired.
Yeah.
This is a movie that should be lifted up because of the black and white cookie unity, so to speak. What are your thoughts on that?
It's such a surprise to me because this is another one of those movies where it's like all of that. I can't add to that other than like, yeah, I've heard that too, and I was just as equally shocked that it's getting notoriety, and like. It's also the case, like, no one talked about it when it came out.
Yeah.
Like, it was one of those, like, oh, when Green Book came out. Oh, I guess so.
Yeah.
That was my reaction. And, like, I'm just shocked that it's even on here.
Yeah. This is like the Crash, 2018 Crash.
Or The Reader. Do you remember The Reader when it was nominated?
No.
Because no one remembers The Reader.
No. What is that?
The Reader with Kate Winslet. And it's like, no one remembers that movie, but it was nominated for Best Picture that year.
I don't.
See? See? So, but I think this is even, this is also problematic for all the things you brought up. You know, like, being an unmemorable Oscar baity movie is one thing.
Yeah.
Having all those things just makes it feel like Dirty Pool, you know? This and Bohemian.
Yeah.
The fact that they're both on here for those reasons.
What movie do you think should be nominated for Best Picture?
I'm shocked at If Beale Street.
Oh,
I'm shocked it's on here.
I did hear about that.
Yeah.
Mine would be I think I would throw Hereditary in there. If you want to throw a dark horse, excuse you. If you want to put a dark horse in there, you threw Green Book in there, Bohemian Rhapsody, please.
The Hereditary 100%.
I sent someone to the bathroom for that comment.
Hereditary definitely.
Poop on your opinion.
Wow.
Hereditary should definitely be on this list.
I have so many words about how that film got shafted.
No, Toni Collette. At the minimum, Toni Collette should have been nominated.
Yeah.
Minimum.
For sure.
No.
Do you think Crazy Rich Asians should have been on here?
Because
it was a Golden Globe nominee. It's a SAG Award nominee. It's been a Critics' Choice nominee.
Right.
Do you think this should have been Oscar nominated?
It's it's gonna sound really weird because I am Asian American. I am supportive of that movie.
He hates that.
No. Don't be putting words in my mouth. I legitimately really like the movie a lot, but I also, at the end of the day, I think it's a very good, well-made romantic comedy. A big, good, well-made studio comedy.
Right.
But nothing that I felt was super groundbreaking.
Okay.
That really, that should be nominated. If I was to give anything to anyone, possibly Constance.
Okay.
Because I thought she was very good in the film. Michelle Yeoh, also great in the movie.
So they got a nomination. But could you argue the same about Black Panther? Did it really do anything groundbreaking in the terms of filmmaking, or was that just culturally significant? Same as Crazy Rich Asians.
That's a fair point. And I feel like with Black Panther, it does some. One of the things that I loved about Black Panther, and it was one of my favorite movies of last year, for sure, is that it took a step in the genre, the comfortable, air quote, genre of superhero movies.
Right.
But it took its step to be not just a fun action adventure, but also took a step to have something to say.
Right.
And don't get me wrong, your argument makes a good point. Your point is very well said, because like Crazy Rich Asians did the same thing. And I guess maybe that's the case. Like, there's a case like Black Panther was culturally, it felt like it culturally needed to be proven a point.
Yeah.
More so than Crazy Rich. But at the same time, Crazy Rich equally did an equal job in the same way.
Because even though I love Black Panther too, I love Michael B. Jordan, I love the performance, I love his motivation. He is one of the best villains in the MCU.
Agreed.
I actually think Avengers Infinity War was the best superhero movie of 2018.
It's a pretty good.
Like the way all those characters were juggled by those two directors, the VFX work was amazing.
Yeah.
There was heart, there was comedy, there was drama.
Yeah.
The stakes were there. The ending was epic. Like, honestly, did anybody expect that ending? No, you didn't. You did not expect that to happen. If you say yes, you're a liar.
No.
But yeah, I would have actually liked to have seen Crazy Rich Asians up here rather than Bohemian Rhapsody for sure.
Oh no! If I could swap,
Yeah.
if we could
Yes, you
swap
can
out,
swap.
Hey, listen. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna change my statement.
Okay.
If I get, yes, I will put it on there just to, specifically so that Bohemian Rhapsody and Green Book would not be on these lists. 100%. Because yeah, if Bohemians can be on there, then yes.
Yeah.
A really well-made romantic comedy that has a good social impact, that has a good cultural impact.
Yeah.
And brings up a point of view in a way that is never addressed in a big studio movie, specifically from America. Yes.
Yes.
Kick out Bohemian Rhapsody and definitely include Crazy Rich Asians in there.
The cool guy says Hereditary and 8th Grade deserve way more than they got, which I've heard about 8th Grade, but I haven't seen that film yet either.
8th Grade is amazing.
Yes.
It's definitely check it out when you can. The lead actress should have absolutely been nominated.
Of 8th Grade, yeah,
Of 8th
I've
grade.
heard that as well. Any category that you want to dive into next? We have Best Actor, Best Actress, which the Best Actress category was very surprising because Yalitza Aparicio
Yes.
was nominated from Roma. There was actually 2 actresses nominated in Roma that haven't seen any other nomination, I believe. None of the major ones, at least. Was that very surprising when you saw that?
That she was nominated for Roma?
For Roma, yeah.
Honestly, no, because I really thought she was amazing in Roma. And it's one of those cases where it's like, she brought so much realism to the role that I felt like, no, obviously she was probably going to get a nod.
Yeah.
You know, I'm a little surprised with Glenn Close, to be honest.
Really? She's been racking it up.
I know that not knocking Glenn Close,
Yeah,
but I'm
because
just
Glenn Close is queen. She's
Yeah.
one of the queens.
got no problem with her. She's great, but it's also the case where it's like, it's a movie that no one talked about. No one really.
That's true.
It's kind of like the one she was nominated a couple years ago.
Yeah.
Where I forgot the name of that one. So did you, apparently.
Yeah. I was like, wait, what? But it sounds very, very familiar. But I could say the same thing about Can You Ever Forgive Me? I have never heard of that film before the Golden Globes.
That's fair. I did hear about that one, but it only was like, it sounded like an interesting idea.
Yeah.
No one really talked about it, but I guess now that it's getting these nominations, folks who really loved it are starting to pop up more in whatever Twitter or social media I'm looking at, and they're all like, "Oh, I'm glad that's actually getting some kind of notice because it disappeared when it came out."
Exactly. Let me see who's in the SAG nominations. Female actor in a, let's see, not supporting. Female actor in leading role. So Emily Blunt was nominated here. Glenn Close, Olivia Colman, Lady Gaga, Melissa McCarthy. So Emily Blunt's position is like interchangeable with Constance Wu and now
Right.
Yalitza.
This is for Mary Poppins, right?
This for Mary Poppins. Did you see Mary Poppins?
I did see Mary Poppins Returns.
What did you think of
That
it?
was fine.
Do you think she was like Oscar?
No, I just think she's very good in it.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, let's not lie. I mean, like, nothing to make me go, yeah, give it to her. It's like, no, she's really good in it. But I mean, like, this didn't blow me away. Like,
Right.
say, I'm looking at the list again. Like Lady, no, I won't say it. Funny enough, I've seen none of these movies either.
You didn't see A Star is Born?
I still haven't seen Star is Born.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
we'll get into that.
Okay.
But another actress who seemed to have been snubbed from this category in the Oscars is Viola Davis in Widows, which criminally I haven't seen yet either. And Steve McQueen is like my dog. I love Steve McQueen.
I still haven't seen it either. I heard, I've been meaning to. I hear it's really, really good.
But she did get nominated at BAFTAs, which I'm very surprised about because they
Really?
said they tend to skew towards a certain group.
Okay.
Whether that be race or nationality or class. So I was very surprised to see her nominated there. But again, I see this as Glenn Close sweeping it, even though I think actually Lady Gaga should get. I really liked A Star is Born, and I didn't think I was going to like it as much as I did.
I've been hearing that a lot. It's funny because I have a remake podcast, and we looked at A Star is Born. It came out the same month as Halloween.
Yeah.
And we decided we wanted to attack Halloween, but I did tell my co-host, like, we gotta jump back on A Star is Born because that has way too many remakes.
Too many. Four in the course of, 40 years?
Yeah.
50?
Like, no,
Judy Garland, maybe 60, 70 years. I don't know.
And then like Barbara Streisand did one, so I'm like, it's worth checking out all of them at some point.
I don't know.
Oh no,
I see the same story 4 times in a row.
That's part of our show. I'm curious to see what they do differently each time, but I'm glad that she's getting the nods, though.
Yeah, Bradley Cooper and Lady Gaga definitely disappeared into their roles. I cried. Oh, it's such a good time. Actor in a supporting role here, Mahershala Ali.
I do like Mahershala.
Oh, he should win everything.
He's
freaking great. Sam Elliott for A Star Is Born. Richard E. Grant, Can You Ever Forgive Me? Now I want to see Can You Ever Forgive Me.
That's 2 in there. Yeah, it's pretty good.
I need to find someone with screeners and just have a... And Sam Rockwell for Vice, which some people are like, why? Why? You've seen Vice.
I did see Vice. And it's funny, like, I remember definitely being blown away by Christian Bale. Definitely really liking Amy Adams a lot in that film. And then, like, I thought Rockwell was good. But, like, someone asked, like, what is he, like, is it, like, what is it about his performance? Is he amazing? Like, oh, he's fine. Like, he's also not the focus.
Right.
You know, so the purpose of his use as George W. Bush is to remind you George W. Bush, and he's not, like, doing a Will Ferrell thing, but he's also not the lead, so that he doesn't have to do a lot of dramatic weight. He's just got to remind you, hey, remember George W.? Yeah.
That's what this kind of the catalyst for all this.
Yeah.
Which is funny you mentioned Will Ferrell, because I think everybody's like fascinated with anyone who does like a George Bush impersonations that are like, oh my God, this is so great.
Yeah.
A little bit of that. And, you know, obviously Sam Rockwell is respected in the industry. He won last year for 3 billboards to Missouri
that's right.
or whatever.
That's right. 3 billboards.
Yeah, three billboards. So let's just dive into a little bit of Oscar controversy.
Sure. The one besides the one we already talked about.
Besides the no host, the Oscar snubs. So only 2 live performances are going to air during the ceremony.
Yeah.
And Lin-Manuel went to Twitter and was like, what is this bullshit?
Yeah, no, I saw that tweet. He
was upset. So only All the Stars by Kendrick Lamar and SZA. And then Shallow with Bradley Cooper and Lady Gaga. That will be the only 2 performances. And I have to say, I'm fine with that. I'm okay. The musical performances just kills my vibe.
Sure.
For these live telecasts.
Here's the thing. It depends on what and who they got.
That's true.
You know, like
Jennifer Hudson, ace.
Oh yeah. Oh, that was great. I'm a bit of a Les Miserables nerd.
Okay.
So like when they did Les Miserables, one of the things I liked about that live performance was like the famous thing about doing Les Miserables on stage is when you do the song in which everybody sings at once, and it's like this amazing layered performance. And I was like, you're gonna do that at the Oscars, though, right? Yeah. I mean, like that's like that's like really proving that you're Les Miserables, even if it's not a play. And they did, and I was really excited that they did it, and they did a pretty good job with it. In this year, it's like, what are the other nominations for the song? Like,
the original song is only going to be a few here.
Yeah.
Of course, All the Stars,
right?
Shallow.
Yeah.
And then,
it was a Ruth Ginsburg movie, right? Was it?
I think it's a little bit up here. Yes, here we go. All the Stars. I'll Fight from the Ruth Ginsburg movie, not the one that just came out.
Right.
Mary Poppins, The Place Where Lost Things Go. When a Cowboy Trades His Spurs for Wings.
From Buster Scruggs.
Yeah, and Shallow. So those 5.
I will say that, first off, I'm stoked. Even though I had not seen A Star Is Born, I do know how good that Shallow song is.
Yeah.
So I'm stoked to watch that performance. I'm also stoked to see the All the Stars performance. I will admit, like, the Place Where Lost Things Go is my favorite song from Mary Poppins Return, so I would have liked to have seen Emily Blunt sing that live, but if you only got time for 2...
You picked the right 2.
You picked the right 2, yeah. No, I'm sure the I'll Fight song is good, but you picked the 2 that, honestly, that's going to draw people in.
I would love for All the Stars to win, though, because Kendrick Lamar was really ace with that entire soundtrack, and I think he should get some kind of accolade. So whether he wins the SAG tomorrow or the Oscar in the month, that would be great to see.
That's a tough one with the Oscar, though. Like, do you think All Star has a shot against Shallow?
No.
Boom.
Not because it's not good, because Lady Gaga is such a powerhouse.
Yeah.
You know, she's a powerhouse live singer. She was one of the co-writers for the song. You know, and if they want, A Star Is Born's not going to really take. Obviously, it's not nominated for Best Director. It's not going to take Best Picture. It's not going to take Best Actor or Best Actress.
If it's going to win
anything, so they're
going
to give it something, and they're going to give it Best Original Song.
That makes the most sense. And I remember when, like, I even said it's on a previous episode of Box Office Showdown, where I'm like, when the first trailer for Star Wars came out and they used "Shallow," like they knew that early on. It's like, oh no,
this is a song.
that's a song.
Yeah,
they built the whole trailer on that song, and it's such a good song.
It's a song that anchors the movie. Really. Let's see, what other major directing?
Yes.
Best director, and a lot of snubs in this category.
Yeah, there is.
But you do have Spike Lee receiving his very first nomination.
Wow!
His very, very first nomination after having so many critically acclaimed films over the last, 30 years?
Yeah.
Cold War, which came out of nowhere. Joel Palokowski, the favorite, Yorgos, whatever his name is.
Lanthimos.
Yeah. Roma Follows the Quran, and Vice from Adam McKay.
First off, Oscars. Seriously? It took you that long to give Spike one?
Yeah.
That's goddamn ridiculous. just, I love Do the Right Thing so much, so the idea he didn't get for Do the Right Thing is still blowing my mind. The fact he didn't get one from Malcolm X still blows my mind. But you know what? I loved Black Klansman, so I'm glad he's getting it now at least.
Right.
Yes.
Better late than never.
Late than never. I have not seen The Favorite. But I've been meaning to because I hear
it's on my list.
We all have our lists, but that one specifically because I know that director has a very, very distinctive kind of comedy style and filmmaking style. But I keep hearing that The Favorite is like, if you've never seen his movies, this is a good one to start with. So I've been looking forward to trying that because I haven't seen anything else he's done. Yeah, you're right. Cold War came out of
nowhere. I'm trying to see if they do directing for the SAGs. I don't think they do. No. I don't see it here. Just TV.
Roma's brilliantly directed.
I have to see that one too. It's on Netflix, so no excuse for that.
If you can get a chance to watch it in the theaters, I do recommend it. I thought it was beautiful on the big screen. Sorry. Go ahead.
Where's Ryan Coogler?
I know.
Where's Ryan Coogler?
Yep.
When are we going to give Ryan Coogler his award? Is it going to be the next Spike Lee?
It's like, does Ryan have to wait 20-some years for them to go, oh, right, here you go? You know,
that kid is just batting 1,000. Look at his slate of movies.
Fruitvale Station.
All critically acclaimed.
Fruitvale Station, Creed, Black Panther. Yeah. No, and it's funny because I know he went to film school at the same time I was at film school, and I look at my life compared to his.
Oh my God, yeah, because he's 32.
He's 32. I'm a little older, and I'm like, I screwed up somewhere.
That's why I hate learning people's ages.
He directed Stallone, and now he's doing a Marvel movie. Yeah. I screwed up somewhere.
And now Black Panther 2. No.
But I mean, I'm doing this. This is fun. But
yeah, right? It's okay.
I'm not directing a Marvel movie with him.
I'm just trying to think. I'm like, were there better directed films last year? Again, something the Russo brothers should have been considered for. But of course, because they're behind a comic book film.
And it's a big franchise.
Is largely polarized. Yeah, polarizing to the Academy. It's like, okay, we can't even consider this guy.
I'm curious. You did just see Into the Spider-Verse today.
I did.
What'd you think?
Okay.
What'd you think of it?
Oh. I liked it. I didn't think it was the best film of the year like everybody was making it out to be.
Okay.
But it was enjoyable.
Okay.
It was heartfelt.
Okay.
I felt a little sting in my eyes.
It's like, oh, it's a little
tingle. I was like, something's wrong with my eyes.
There was a lot of hopes that people were banking and even praying that Into the Spider-Verse would be Oscar nominated for Best Picture. I definitely knew, I'm like, as much as I love that movie. That was my favorite movie last year. But I also knew that wasn't going to happen.
Animated feature film, it has its own category. I know people think this is a BS category as well. I disagree with that one. I feel like, okay, if you have a live action, and it's always been this way. It's not like that pop culture when they were trying to create 6 months ago.
Oh, no, that was stupid. Yeah.
Yeah, what was it? Popular
Most
fan favorite?
Popular
or
movie
I don't know. It was
category.
Something silly. Yeah. I'm glad he dropped it. But animation is an art in itself.
Right.
That should be separated from.
Well, I would argue that you can have a category for animation. I agree with that because you should celebrate it as is. But if the movie is significantly better If the movie is simply really great, it's still a movie, isn't it? You're still sitting down, you're still watching in a theater, you're still seeing a story being told to you. I would argue if it's that great, it should still be part of the Best Picture.
But you're saying
well.
You're saying that category is less than.
I didn't say
you're
no.
Taking it as
I didn't say the less than. It is definitely a separate category to acknowledge that animation is a very different skill set, and we should acknowledge it. Much like foreign film is a separate category that Roma's probably going to win, but like that's nominated, and so like you were going to separate already. You're going to separate those already, so I would argue that you should if Into Survivors would probably win, but I would think it would if it's great, they should also have a chance for Best Picture.
Okay, so I'm going to go to the chat in 1 second just to end your commentary there. Just because I was like, it has its own category, but when you said foreign language film, interestingly enough, Roma is under foreign language film for Mexico and also nominated for Best Picture. Right. I guess you got me there. Damn it, Academy. I was trying to give you the benefit of the doubt. Okay, late good night to Thomas Franco here. Let's see here. Henry K says, I love the MCU, Black Panther, and comic book movies, but Black Panther being nominated for Best Picture is just a little too SJW even for me. Toku Kid said Spider-Verse easily beats Incredibles and Wreck-It Ralph. Haven't seen Isle of Dogs or Mariah yet.
Mariah. Future, yeah.
I'm going to comment on Henry's a little bit. It is, for me, it is pandering the fact that Black Panther was nominated only because it hasn't been nominated in any other major film categories like this whole entire time. No Best Supporting Actor, which should go to Michael B. Jordan. No Best Director for Ryan Coogler.
Sure.
So I feel like that was just like, let's just give them that nomination so everyone can show up.
You know what? That's actually a very, very good point, because it's like, like if there were other things, like I think it's got like some technical nominations. I think it's got costume at least.
But so did Suicide Squad.
Right. Well, I'll definitely say Black Panther better win Best Costume. Well, it better win Best Costume.
What's funny, too, is that Best Picture, they get 10 Best Picture slots, and they only used 8 as well.
So what that means is that you could have easily included Crazy Rich Asians.
They were like, no, we're not going to have 2 all-ethnic casts in here.
All right,
That's
fine.
too much, people.
All right.
One step at a time.
All right, guys. All right. Thanks.
Well, for nominated films, going back to that for a little bit. So we see Incredibles 2 here, Isle of Dogs, Mirai, and Ralph Breaks the Internet. Have you seen all of these, any of these? Do you have an opinion on this?
I've seen Incredibles 2, and I liked it. I liked it a lot. But I don't, it almost feels like Disney's got a lockdown on 2 of the 5 slots for animation. It's like, guaranteed to Pixar, guaranteed to Disney. And that's kind of a shame, you know?
For sure. I think we just about covered it here. I know that our producer Jezza here wants to have a mock Oscars award ceremony. Where we nominate the films, where we award the films
that we would like to see win.
That we would like to see win. Which should turn into a Oscar pool bet.
That would be a good idea.
And I think we should let the watchers here join in on the Oscar pool.
Yes.
So maybe we'll work on that behind the scenes and come back to you guys next week with more details.
That'll be fun.
That would be very fun. Any other categories you want to touch upon before we sign off here? Any comments on any of the controversies? The no host?
The no host, I feel like, is kind of getting a little overblown in terms of like people freaking out about it. At the end of the day, listen, the host, and you can please disagree with me if you want.
Okay.
Like at the end of the day, when the host has the monologue, that's cool and that's funny or entertaining. And then after that, it's just autopilot. Right? It's like, here's our next guest.
Yeah.
Here's our next guest.
Yeah.
Well,
then you have like Seth MacFarlane, who did way too much, and Anne Hathaway and James Franco. So it's just like, you can't win. You can't win with the viewers.
When was the last time you loved a host of the Oscars?
I think it was when Chris Rock hosted the Oscars.
When was that? I remember he did it.
Was years and
that
years
was like,
ago.
I don't remember the last time he did it.
Oscars, let's see, the last time was Oscars 2005.
Wow!
I remember it from all the way back then.
That's almost like, oh gosh,
His
that's 14 years ago.
Was just, it had me dying. Oh no, he didn't do Oscars, but
No,
he did Golden Globes.
He did Golden Globes.
Which also, and they don't like controversial like hosts like that, which is like a shame. The Oscars are boring enough. I have one question for you though.
Okay.
Have you seen Paddington 2?
I have not seen Paddington 2 yet.
Has anyone seen Paddington? I just want to know if the bear gets hurt or something, because I don't want to watch it if it does.
Have you seen the first one?
No, I haven't seen
okay.
it. I heard it was so good, and Hugh Grant should have been nominated. Huh?
Mm-hmm.
Why are you gonna watch it?
Because everybody's like, that movie is the bomb. That's like the best movie of last year.
Comment.
How to comment? Shia Almanza? Billy Crystal needs to host again?
Nah, Billy's fine. We're good on Billy.
Battlestar Galactica does not have a comment on it.
Right? No.
It's not on here. The Blur says Andy Samberg and Sandra Oh should do it.
I liked what they did at the Globes. That was fun. Did you not like what they did at the Globes?
And I'm not blaming them. I'm blaming their writers for that.
I was fine with it. No, all right.
I got some chuckles in too, but I
chuckles,
just think like the bits and stuff, it didn't really fly well. Also, I was getting pissed off during that ceremony because nobody would shut the fuck up.
I mean, that's very true.
It was so rude and so loud. Like if I was at that ceremony, I'd be upset.
They were definitely already kind of drunk in that show,
Yeah.
so no.
Tokuki says Paddington 2 is trash. You're trash.
You probably haven't seen it, Toku Kid.
Tokuki
I'm
says Matt
kidding.
and Trey from South Park should host. Where our host for our Oscars is going to be none other than Daniel Jerome. He is so excited he's writing up his bit now. But I think that's going to do it for us here at Box Office Showdown. Please let us know in the comments what you think about the nominations. If you're interested, the SAG Awards are tomorrow night. Good indicator of what's going to happen on February 24th. I believe it starts 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, the Oscars. But we'll be here February 23rd with our mock Oscars and our best dress.
Because apparently we have to do that.
Yes.
Now,
We have been ordered to.
we've been ordered to, and I got to find my one suit.
I'll just borrow Jezzers from Henshin
That's fine.
Hangout.
I'll just borrow your blazer real quick.
We did Henshin Hangout, and we're wearing the same shirt, different colors. Didn't even notice. I was like, you guys are wearing the same shirt.
Mine's not buttoned up.
They're like H&M.
H&M.
Justin, where can we find you next?
You can find me on Instagram at Justin Keyson. No, Justin Quiz. I'm so out of it right now. You can find me on Instagram at Justin Quiz, Twitter at Justin Keyson, and of course you can find my podcast, Nothing New, a remake podcast available on Apple Podcasts or your chosen podcast app.
He's on all the podcasts.
I'm on a lot
Geek
of
Say What
pods.
podcast.
I just did a Geek Offensive episode
Did
for Geek Say What last night. We talked about Life Force.
Oh,
Did you ever see
Light
that?
Force?
Life Force. Have you seen that movie?
No.
You should check it out. It's wild.
Worse. You guys can find me on Facebook and Twitter at Miggy Spicy and on the Twitch at Miggy Spicy as well.
Oh, don't forget, Patsy, that Comic-Con is tomorrow. If you're in the Southern California area, we'll be there with a panel about how to get into geek pop culture media. I'm on that panel. A bunch of us, maybe too many of us, will be on that panel. But there's an army of hashtag folks. We'll be there at that panel tomorrow. So please join us if you can.
Army.
It's an army of hashtag.
Army. And we have one more star comment to address here. Justin is wrong. Are you saying actors on screen performances can actually be compared to voice actors' performances?
Yes. What was Robin Williams in Aladdin to you?
You can speak, audience
All
member.
right, you are wrong. Think about that. The work that a person on screen does.
Stop.
Yeah. The work someone does on screen.
That means like. I think it still counts.
Okay, then. Well, that's all for Box Office Showdown. We'll see you guys next week.
Yes.
Have a good night.
Night.